Breakfast is served.
Time to be ready for practice. Fall out. Boom. Shaka waka. Look me in the face. Look me in the face, camera. You recording? Yes. All right, so off to practice finally. The last training session of the program. So it should be, if it's like the majority of my other programs, it should be the best practice of the program. I should be throwing the farthest. I should be feeling the best, the most explosive, the strongest, the best technically, all that stuff. So with this coming up, I approach practice a little bit differently. I try to treat it like a competition almost, where I want to do everything I can to get the best possible performance out of myself. And I kind of treat this practice as not just practice for throwing, but practice for competing. Like, I'll just be very specific and deliberate with everything I do, from my warm-up to putting my glove on, putting my knee rests on, to tying my shoes, to doing all that stuff. Even the stuff I wear, you're gonna compete your best when you feel most comfortable. When you're comfortable with your technique, when you're comfortable with how strong you're feeling, when you're comfortable with the surroundings, when you're comfortable with everything. And that's what I go for on these kinds of days. And another thing I do to kind of benefit myself is I'll take some ibuprofen just to make sure, just like I do in competition, just to make sure I'm feeling 100%. I don't want like a little ache in the knee or a little, wrist pain to stop me from doing what I need to do. So that's like one of the few times I'll take ibuprofen no matter what. And normally before I practice, all I'll drink is maybe 12 to 16 ounces of coffee. For the most part, on days when I compete or days when I want to be performing at my best, I'll still drink that same amount of coffee, and then I'll take an extra 200 milligram caffeine pill before I compete. So caffeine, ibuprofen, and just a little bit more deliberate with everything that I do. I'm very specific in the way that I do it, and I think that's the stuff that'll make the little difference. On days when I know I'm gonna throw far, I do everything I can to throw far. I spare no expense. I'm all about selling out every competition, everything you do, because you never know when you're gonna feel that good ever again. When people compete and they hit a really good throw and they're like, all right, now I'm just gonna call it there, because they have a big competition coming up in the next couple weeks. I've never understood that, because you never know when you're gonna feel that good ever again. Let's say, for example, you set a PR, you throw 70 meters one meet, and like it was the easiest 70 meters of your life, and you're like, wow, I have this much more in the tank. I could throw 4 meters farther today if I wanted to. But you and your coach decide, nah, I'm gonna forget about it. I don't want to empty the tank, if you will, for the next couple meets, or for the biggest meet that's coming up. That's the stupidest shit you could ever do. I'm just gonna say that. Unless your training is perfectly set up, you know every variable that's going in, every variable that's coming out, you're never gonna have the exact same body feeling every program. Even myself, when I set PRs at the end of every program, it's similar feelings, but it's never the same feeling. So for me, it's been, whenever I feel good, I'm gonna fucking go for it no matter what. I don't care if it's the opening meet of the year. I don't care if it's the middle of the year with a bullshit meet that means nothing. If it's conference, if it's nationals, whatever, I'm gonna sell out and give it everything I got, because you never know when you're gonna feel that good ever again. And I think that's a thing that most people don't really realize. Yes, it's so much better to throw far when it counts, but I also think it's better to have thrown far when it doesn't count than to have never thrown far at all. And that's just a little food for thought. It's up to you guys to interpret that as you will. There's no other way to put that practice other than disappointing. Never really felt good, never really got in a groove. Ended up throwing just under my program best with the 8K. Honestly, it felt like 2 programs ago with the 9K, where like I felt kind of strong, kind of long, but I just felt like the positions weren't really clicking, the ball wasn't really moving. It's stuff like that. I just didn't feel good. Didn't feel like the best it could feel today. Not really close at all. But I think I'm starting to figure out that there might be some sort of pattern to this. So like my first program was really good. My second program was shitty. That was with the 9K. Not shitty, just it was not what I expected. My third program was killer with the 10K and the 8K. And then this program was kind of disappointing as well. And I think there's something to be said about these patterns almost, and that's why you train. That's why you need to track your training and how far you throw and how good you feel and when you feel shitty and stuff like that, because that's what your body reacts more or less in the same manner as long as you keep your training more or less the same. Long list of reasons of why I didn't throw far or why I should have thrown farther, but honestly it's just there's really I can't make any excuses. All I can do is look at the data, look at what went wrong, what went right, and then kind of just re-examine my entire training process. Once again, come back better next program. That being said, there are a lot of variables that came into play with this program. The biggest one was the weather, no doubt about it. I went most of the program, like about half the program, with decent weather, and by decent I mean like 45 and sunny. And then the other half of the program, it was shitty, like today. So it was supposed to be 40, felt like 30 degrees, windy, chilly, it was wet, all that stuff. So that's just, once again, it sounds like I'm making excuses, but this is just me looking at the variables. When it's cold out like this, it slows down nerve conduction velocity. That's not what you want. It lowers the intensity of the throw. I felt like today, I felt strong, I felt kind of solid, but I just felt like, once again, I couldn't get that speed going that I needed through the throw to really max out the throws. And two was the trip back home, no doubt about it. So yeah, two big variables that I think played into the disappointment or the downfall of this program was weather. Coming back home, I drove 12 hours Monday and Tuesday. Even just being at home is a little stressful for me. New building, that's cool. Kitchen and brewery. Oh, there's a brewery right there. That's pretty cool. I don't know if it's open yet. But yeah, so ironically, last time I had a disappointing program was also when I was home in Ohio. That was a month and a half ago. Coincidence? I don't know. We'll see. There's a whole bunch of other small things that also played into it. I think of training as a science experiment, and I like that, once again, like I'm doing now, I'm examining all the variables that go in the science experiment, and then I see how it affects the end product. And between sleep and diet and training and stress, it's never a constant system. It's never a constant system, but you control what you can control, and you play with the hand that you're given, and you do everything you can to get the best result out of your body that you can. And I think as long as you do that wholeheartedly, you'll end up where you want to end up. Unfortunately, you have days like today, very humbling days, where I put in 3 weeks of hard ass work, throwing in the cold, throwing in the rain, throwing in the snow, lifting all the weights, doing all of that stuff, and it just doesn't work out, and it kind of sucks. It's very humbling. It's kind of depressing. I'd say very depressing, because this is the day I look forward to every program. Not every day can be your day, but god damn it, you have to keep fighting for it. That completes this week's vlog. A little disappointing today with today's peak session. I should just call it the final session of the program now, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that little motivational rant that I went on, if you will. Can't let the hard times get you down. You gotta be smart about your training, gotta treat it like a science experiment. Back to my regularly scheduled training next Monday. All this little travel and weather stuff kind of got me a little flippy-floppy all over the place. So yeah, time to get back on a normal training schedule, normal diet schedule, normal work schedule, all that fun stuff that you guys must love as much as I do, because I love it a lot. So excited to get back on a normal schedule. It was fun being home for a little bit, but all good things got to come to an end. So continue on with everything else I just said. Comment below if you guys like this new format. Comment below if you guys hate this new format. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already yet, and then make sure you like the video too. Give me a little thumbs up. A little thumbs up action if you enjoyed it. So yeah, until next time, my friends, until next time.